half double crochet flat circle. We start off with a slip knot and then a chain 4, slip stitch into the first chain made. Now we're going to work into this loop and over top of our yarn tail. We're chaining 1, which is not going to count as a stitch here or throughout, and if you need to use a stitch marker to know where your rounds end, this is where you will place your round, right after the chain 1 that starts each round. Now I'm going to half double crochet 8 times into my loop. Now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch where my stitch marker was to join. Make sure to pull that slip stitch tight. And there's the end of round 1. Now for round 2, I chain 1. This is where I place my stitch marker. And now I'm going to make 2 half double crochets into each stitch around. Okay, 2 half double crochets into each stitch around. And now slip stitch to the top of the first stitch to join. Pull that tight. Now there's the end of round 2. Round 3, I chain 1, move my stitch marker, 2 half double crochet into the first stitch, and then a half double crochet into the next one. So I'm counting to 3 all the way around. Stitches 1 and 2 go into a stitch together, and then the rest go by themselves. So we go 1, 2 together, and then 3 is by itself. And repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, first 2 together, split my yarn, and then 3 by itself all the way around. Okay guys, I've gotten around, and this is 2 by 2 together, and so this should be 3 by itself, and I've noticed that it's not going to work. So what I did was I looked back and I saw here's 2 stitches that are together, and then number 3 it's by itself. 1, 2 together, 3 by itself. 1, 2 together, 3 by itself. 1, 2 together, 3 by itself. 1, oh shoot. That's where I made a mistake. So what I'm going to do is go back, put my hook right there at the top of that stitch that's 1 by itself. Okay, I did 1, 2 together, 3, and then for some reason I went to number 4. Okay, I shouldn't have. I should have started counting over again. So there's 1, 2 together, number 3 is by itself, and now 1, 2 together, number 3 is by itself. Okay, so doing this kind of also helps you to notice if you've made a mistake. Go ahead and check those things. If you get to the end and things look a little weird, don't just fudge it. Go back and check the row to see if you actually made a mistake, because it's just going to be more difficult on the next round if you did make a mistake. See, and look, now I'm going 1, 2 in this stitch and number 3 by itself, and that time it worked. Now slip stitch to the top of the first stitch made, and there's the end of round 3. Round 4, I chain 1, move my stitch marker. For round 4, we will do repeats of 4 where the first 2 are together, and then 1 and 2 are together, and 3 and 4 are by themselves, which means it's 2 together and 2 by themselves. And this is one of the rounds where we split those by themselves stitches. So instead of doing 2 together and then 2 by themselves to start with, we're only going to do one of those by themselves here. Okay, so we're going to start with a single half double crochet. Just 1 half double crochet. A little easier to understand that, right? Now we're going to start our counting to 4 to go around. And in this case, on our very last repeat, number 4 is already done. So when we count to 4, we do the first 2 stitches together, 1, 2, and then the rest by themselves. 3, and 4. Okay, first 2 stitches together, 1, 2, and the rest by themselves, 3 and 4, all the way around, knowing that our last number 4 is what we started with. I'm about to do my last set of counting to 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, and number 4 was the one I started with. So now I'm just going to slip stitch to the top of the first stitch I made, pull that nice and tight, and there's the end of round 4. Okay, round 5 is really simple because we don't split anything, so we chain 1, move our stitch marker, and then we just count to 5 all the way around, starting in the very first stitch where we put 1 and 2 together. So 1, 2, and then the rest by themselves, 3, 4, 5, and keep going all the way around. Finished round 5, I join with a slip stitch to the top of the first stitch I made, pull that tight. Round 6, we chain 1, move the stitch marker. Now round 6 is an even number round. That means that it's one that we're going to split up our increases. So we would have 2 by themselves and 4 separate. We're going to do half of those separate to begin with. We would be doing 2 together, 4 by themselves, but because we're splitting up where that increase goes, we're starting off with the 2 by themselves first. 1, 2, and now we're going to do our counting to 6 around with the first 2 together and the rest by themselves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we keep doing that all the way around. And of course 5 and 6 of the last repeat were already done, so when we get to the last one, we'll do 1, 2 together, 3, 4 by themselves, and then join. Now I'm on my last repeat. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 are what I started with. So then I slip stitch to join, and that is all it takes. You can keep on going using that same technique, and you can make a flat circle with half double crochet stitches as large as you would like.